This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified 60th Anniversary Action Sailor Recon Diver figure. Now, the 60th Anniversary logo uses some terrible fonts because it kind of looks like it says 1984 instead of 1964. So that's one of those things you should kind of look at when you go to do a logo, especially if you are doing it in a small scale. You don't want your numbers bleeding into each other. But this is based on one of the old, like 19, or not 19, but 12-inch G.I. Joe figures that were out in the 60s before the 80s brought us the scale most people know of with the O-ring line. On the side, we got some nice little artwork in this stylized, waterish looking coloring. On the back, we have a nice bit of a pose here. Not really much to say about it. They don't show a whole lot. What's going to be interesting is trying to figure out where all the equipment goes on this guy. I'd also like to point out that he does have a unique background image here for him, showing a topographical map with the 60th anniversary logo. So if you're like me and you take some of these papers and put them behind on the shelf for the different factions, this is a nice little thing to have for the future. And of course, as always, they give us this lovely little piece of paper with all the warnings in multiple different languages, but they don't give us anything that tells you where the equipment goes on the figure. So let's go ahead and start taking them out. This guy's got a ton of crap all over him. And I, unfortunately, am not a diver. I have wanted to take scuba lessons, but I have yet to do so. So I do not know what all this equipment is actually supposed to be called. And I cannot read the little text on the back of the backpack, but this kind of makes me think of a rebreather unit, which would be that kind of scuba pack where it's designed to keep your breath in there so you don't surface bubbles in order to stay stealthy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation, and I just want to know. I actually believe these may be two different head sculpts and not just a repaint of the same one. They both look kind of angry, although the Caucasian head does look like he's a little more frowny, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think it's very possible that these are slightly different head sculpts. Articulation-wise, we do have the chicken neck still. Ball joint that allows you to spin around and look kind of up and down. The pack here does kind of get in the way a little bit with that. And like I said, I'm not sure what exactly this part is supposed to represent. But I'm kind of thinking maybe it's a weighted thing to help him stay underwater. We have a butterfly joint, and it appears to be the standard butterfly joint that most G.I. Joe classified figures have, and not the new stuff. Let's see. Appears that he may have a... There may be an ab crunch under there. I'm trying to look underneath uh, the harness here, but I can't, and it's really hindering any kind of motion. But it does kind of look like, from what I can tell, like there is an ab crunch, but it's pretty much useless because of his equipment. He has the general waist ball joint that we see on the classified figures. We still have the drop down hip, and we can kick out like that. We can kick forward, forward like that. And we can kick back like so. And his little knife sheath just keeps on sliding around on his thigh. And I don't know, it kind of looks like it's not very well manufactured right here. I don't know if that's on purpose or an accident, but that could be something that could cause a problem in the future. He's got the standard double jointed knee for G.I. Joe Classified. He's also got a nice boot cut down at the ankle-ish, or the lower calf area, or whatever we call that, shin. We've got a hinge on the foot, and and a little bit of a spin so that we can get his foot in weird little positions. Although the boot cut does get in the way of moving the foot a bit. The hands have the spin, and he has the up and down articulation on it. He comes with a ton of equipment, and none of it seems to be extra hands. And of course, the backpack does come off, and there's a hole in his harness thing. And of course, we can remove what I am thinking is still supposed to be maybe a weight pack if we want to. First bit of equipment we will take a look at is this little unit here, which comes apart. I'm wondering if these little... Yep, okay, so the little blade in that propeller in there can actually turn. So based on this design here, I think he's supposed to hold it from here and then goes this way with it. And there is another, looks like this would be another screen if they'd put something on there. My guess is this probably would let you know the amount of fuel and such. I am kind of wondering if there is supposed to be something printed there and they just kind of missed it on this one, or if that's normal for these ones. He comes with a set of fins that do have a hole in the bottom, so you can still peg him into stands, which is awesome. And they do have a little L and R on there, so you know which foot they're supposed to go on. And if you ever tried to run into fins, you know that's not too easy to do. What I'm trying to figure out is what this is supposed to be exactly. Does it? See, I was wondering if it clipped onto here, but I guess it doesn't. This is supposed to... Well, no, that's a rectangular peg, so... Huh. Oh, well, let's figure that out at some point, I guess. Anyway, start looking at some of his equipment here. We have a nice army knife for him to use, serrated edge, pretty good underwater because you might want to actually use that to help cut some rope or whatever cabling might get you stuck. And we can put it in the little thigh pouch here. We have a pistol with a suppressor on it. I have not seen a suppressor designed in this manner before, so that's kind of a unique bit. And it would appear that the suppressor goes into that pouch there, and I just bent the little part that fits into the gun. There are times when I think they just... let's try putting it like that. Hopefully that'll keep it from getting bent. And then the pistol itself can slide into the holster here, like so. We have a harpoon gun for underwater activities. They've also got the little wrist loop so that, if you drop it, you don't drop it. So you can hold it like so. Let me try to get the finger in the trigger guard, but not too bad. Kind of would have been nice to have a second harpoon gun with a string and the arrow or the harpoon part out of it so that you could attach it to stuff. We will try to slide that off now. He does have this little wrist information thing on there. I'm guessing it would be hooked to the backpack to let him know his oxygen levels. And I'm thinking that the harpoon is actually designed to hold onto the backpack or his pack like so. Although, actually, I wonder if the gun is supposed to go on there. Anyway, let's take a look at the gun and then we'll deal with that part. So this is just a small rifle with a clip. It actually fits on the backpack really well. And the reason why I was starting to think that was because maybe there's a couple little hooks here on the back of his vest. So perhaps that is where the harpoon is supposed to go. Like so. We have his little mask here. It's got clear lens. It appears, as best as I can see, like this is two parts. One part clear, one part rubber-ish. Because this stuff does not feel like it's painted or does not seem to be painted. Because I just can't imagine them actually having painted the inside and outside on there when this goes on the head. But you can clearly see that there is a clear plastic there. And it does kind of look like it might be two parts here. So we can slip that over his head, and there's a little peg here at the bottom that still clips onto that, or pins into there. He has a set of dog tags, which we probably should have gone ahead and put on him when we took the head off, but we didn't because we are stupid. He's also got a bag of whatever. Perhaps these are some charges for using underwater, which probably should have gone underneath there. And I still have no idea what this is supposed to be for. Oh, wait. Hold on. There we go. Does it go that way or does it go this way? Then it must go this way. So we finally figured out where that little bit of stuff goes. Hooray! Figure doesn't look too bad though. I mean, it's a nice diver. I'm guessing there's a lot of reuse from torpedo, but I have not actually opened my torpedo yet because I kept on hoping that I would have a Cobra eel at some point that I could put with them. But I'm sure as anybody who collects G.I. Joe Classified knows, Cobra eel was an Amazon exclusive. That was a massive cluster. Beep. And seems like very few people got them, and those who did get them somehow managed to get like a dozen. That's what it kind of looked like. So anyway, let's go ahead and change out some gear on the bro, including his gun just fell out. We will throw the dog tags on, which should go on here like so. Like I said, I think that this little thing should go under here like that before we put this in place. Maybe. And look at everything falling off while we do it. So I guess actually that's not going to work. The dog tags, though, can go on there just fine. And I guess we will have to try putting this on over that now. We will take our other head and put it in place. We will take our other head and put it in place. Oh my God. I guess that is how that's supposed to go, but that just looks super awkward. It's like the more you put on this guy, the more awkward it looks. I think in this case, the Joe team didn't quite do as good of a job setting everything up to hold itself in this case. Now, what's also interesting to note is that this little backpack does not actually have any cords that go to anything else or any tubes. Because now it's a separate rebreather unit here. And there's no like emergency hookup, and these things don't come loose from there. So that seems a bit weird. But we get that back into place like so. And there we go. And this feels like a little too much to me, but that's just my opinion. But now if we are to look at this way, this seems to be the way this is supposed to work. Oh my gosh. And everything just falls apart while you try to put it on there. So this would seem... This dude is so going to drown. This would seem to be how this is expected to work, right? This little thing pulls him through the water while he has all of his other equipment in place. Ah! I wonder, should that go like that maybe? What does it look like on the box? And according to the box, this part is supposed to be up with the handle. So yeah, so he would pull himself through the water like so. And then once he's out of the water, if he's carrying this with him, I'm assuming that this is supposed to be the grip he holds it with. And once he gets on land, he finds that pretty much all of his equipment has fallen off. This is going to be a hard figure to try to figure out how to display, though, I think. Because I don't know if I want to keep him with all the equipment on him. He's got the two separate heads, so if this ever gets discounted, I would like to get a second one so I can display both heads. And as we mentioned before, they did have the holes in the flippers so that you could go ahead and have him look like that dork at the pool who's walking around in the flippers. Anyway, this definitely does not seem like a figure you're going to want to play with. You will probably display him, pose him in some way, shape, or form. But it definitely seems like all the equipment is going to start falling off of him if you try to play with him in the water. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at our action diver. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.